Joining me now is the director of Scalia Law School Center for the Middle East and International Law, Professor Eugene Kontorovich. Professor, thank you so much for being here. We've heard so much from so many leaders. President Erdogan of Turkey, the latest to weigh in today, accusing Israel of war crimes. What do you make of the way leaders around the world and in the West in particular are responding here? What should they be doing, in your view?
They should be supporting Israel's right to defend itself. Israel is fighting completely in accord with the law of war against an enemy which forces Israel to have civilian casualties by using civilian casualties as human shields. Of course, the world should also be telling Egypt to open its border with Israel.
Now, the Egyptians have the border at the southern end of Gaza. They could open that. They could allow all those refugees from the fighting to go into Egypt. Why don't they?
That's correct. Every single conflict, Ukraine, Iraq, Afghanistan, generates millions of refugees. They go to Europe, they go to America, they go to neighboring countries.
Right. Of course, we all remember the scenes of so many people from Ukraine flooding into Poland. Poland opening its borders, helping them. Egypt not doing the same.
And imagine how horrible those conflicts would have been if refugees had to all stay in the country where the violence is. Egypt is not opening its border because it wants the Palestinians to stay there and essentially be human shields for Hamas. The international community should pressure Egypt to open its borders to allow refugees in. They don't have to stop in Egypt. They can go to Europe. They can go elsewhere. Countries have taken refugees from every conflict in the world. But in this one conflict, they're saying to the refugees, stay where it's dangerous, stay where you can get killed, simply to reduce Israel's freedom of action.
It is also interesting, I think, in the bigger picture and over so many decades, how the Jordanians support the Palestinian cause, the Egyptians support the Palestinian cause, but nobody is saying, come, we will take care of you.
They support the Palestinians solely as civilian victims against Israel. They want the Palestinians where they are to create civilian casualties that Israel will then be blamed on.
What do you make of comments coming from the UN Secretary General, not particularly supportive of Israel, it seems to me? I'm assuming you're not surprised by that.
So the United Nations has always had a history of bias and even clear anti-Semitism about Israel, but the Secretary General equated Israel's attacks on Gaza with the horrible October 7th massacre of murder, rape, and torture against Israel. He's really blaming the victim, and I think the UN has lost all of its moral authority. We need to stop talking about the UN as some institution of international legitimacy and just talk about it as what it is, a sick moral joke.
Just on the picture of where Israel stands right now, I personally have never seen in my couple of decades coming here Israel as united as it appears to be right now in the face of these terrible terrorist attacks.
The mood in Israel is clearly united. It is strong. It is a determination to win and not to go back to a situation where Israel allowed what no other country would allow, some rockets here, some shooting here, to say we're entering a new phase. If you attack us, we will attack you.
Professor, an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for being on set with us here in Jerusalem.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor.